Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. In today's video, we're going to be making this gift bag, which has fold-in sides at the top and a nice sturdy handle, and then has a tab and slot closure on the front. This bag is 7 inches high, 5 inches across and 3 inches deep, and takes about 2.5 sheets of cardstock. We do make each of the sides independently, so you can then resize any of the panels that you need to resize the bag. I will give you some ideas as to how you can change up the look of the bag throughout the video, so let's get started. For the front and base, which will be one section, we'll start with a piece which is 10.5 inches by 5 inches. And along the 10.5 inch side, score at 7 and 10. We now want to make the slot for the handle. I'm going to work on the reverse of this so you can see. Now you can change up the positioning of the handle, change up the depth and the width of the handle if you so choose. I'm going to line my ruler up with a 3/4 of an inch mark on the left hand side and make a pencil line between the 1 inch and 4 inch marks on my ruler. Then move my ruler down to the 1 3/4 inch mark on the left hand side and again mark between 1 and 4 inches. So my handle will start 3/4 of an inch down from the top edge of the front and 1 inch in on the left and the right, and it will be 1 inch deep. So you can change that as you so wish. I'm going to move that to one side. For the handle and the back panel, your piece will be 11 by 5, and along the 11 inch side, score at half, 3 and 4. Rotate the piece, put the 1/2 inch tab at the top and score at 1.5 inches and 3.5 inches down to the 1/2 inch score line. So this is going to create the tab which is going to fit in the slot to keep the bag closed. Flip the piece over. I'm going to use my ruler again, line it up with 1.25 inches and draw a pencil line between 1 and 4 inches. Move my ruler down to 2.25 inches and again draw a line between 1 and 4 inches. Move the ruler down to 4.75 of an inch and again draw a line between 1 and 4 inches, and then move the ruler down to 5.75 of an inch and again draw a line between 1 and 4 inches. Remove that piece from the scoreboard, so that's all our marking done on that piece. And for the sides, you'll have two pieces, which are 4 by 7.5. And along the 7.5 inch side, score at 7. And along the 4 inch side, score at half and 3.5. Make a pencil mark along the top edge at 2 inches. And we're now going to create the diagonals, which is going to push the side panels in. If I show you this bag here, although this is a different size, if I open the bag, you can see that the diagonals come in towards the center of the box like so. So it does reduce some of the usage, as it were, of the bag on the inside. So that might be something you might want to consider if you're making the bag with a specific gift inside. So you might want to change where you start your diagonals. I'm going to start my diagonals 2.5 inches from the top. I'm lining my ruler up with the 2.5 inch mark on the left hand side. Make sure the ruler is running parallel, and on the 1/2 inch score line I'm just going to put a pencil line both sides. Repeat that for your second side panel. Take your front and back panel, so this is the one that has just got one set of pencil lines. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Take your scissors and within the 1/2 inch glue tab, just take a wedge from either end. We're going to cut this handle section away, but we'll do that on both the front and the back pieces at the same time. Take the second panel, which is for the back and the handle, and again fold and burnish along the score lines. With the 1/2 inch section in front of you, cut down each of the additional score lines within the 1/2 inch tab, rotate and remove those sections. This is going to be the front flap of the bag, so this edge is going to be what is seen, so try to cut that as neatly as you can. And what we're doing now is creating the tab which is going to fit in the slot. Because it's my preference, I'm going to use a corner rounder to round off the corners of the tab. And I'm also going to use a larger corner rounder just to round off the corners of the front flap. But having looked at the shape of the bag, you might decide you want a completely different shape to the flap. That's up to you. We're now going to cut the handles, and it might even be that if you have a rectangular die, you can use that, or indeed any shaped die, to cut your handle holes. You just need to make sure that the placement is going to be the same on both the front flap, the front panel and the back panel of the bag. Alternatively, I could, for instance, use this scalloped edged nesting die, place this where I want the handles to be cut, and cut my handles that way. I am going to use a craft knife and ruler though for this particular bag. What I will point out now is if you're planning on adding DSP onto your bag panels, you might want to add those to the front, back and front flap sections first before you cut, so that you're cutting through both pieces. I've cut my handle holes and I'm now going to move on to the side panels, and I'm going to start by scoring from the top pencil mark down to the pencil marks on the side score lines. Fold and burnish along the vertical and horizontal score lines, and then fold your diagonals as a valley fold. Take your scissors, remove the bottom left and right hand intersecting squares, and take a wedge from the ends of each of the 3 glue tabs. The 2 side panels will be adhered onto the back panel like so, and then the base and front will come around like so. There's a couple of things you need to consider before you put the bag together. Firstly, you might want to add an aperture into the front panel. You might want to cut a shape and put some acetate behind it, so that's an option. And you would obviously want to do that before you put the bag together. I'm going to create the slot now for the closure tab. So I'm laying the front flap lined up with the top edge of the front panel, and I'm going to make a pencil mark about a 1/16 of an inch either side from the ends of the tab. And now I'm going to cut a slot between the 2 pencil marks. You want to create a slot rather than just cutting a line. And now if I line the 2 pieces up, you can see that the tab fits nice and neatly inside the slot, so I'm quite happy with that. The pieces are now all ready and prepared, so we can start our construction. I'm going to join the front and back panels up first along the base. Now I'm going to add glue onto the base glue tab of the side panel and add that onto the base. Add glue onto the long glue tabs of the side panels. I'm going to do both at the same time. And then fold up the back panel. And then I can go inside and burnish those down. Add glue to the remaining glue tabs and then flip the front panel over. Turn that over and go in and burnish. Once the bag is dry, push the front and back panel towards each other and your bag will collapse in along the diagonals. The front will come down and the tab will slot into place like so. You may want to add another panel onto the inside of the base, depending on what you're planning on putting in the bag. But add a sentiment and a topper to this as you saw at the front of the video, and the bag is now complete. And as I said at the beginning, by making this bag in 4 parts, you can make this any size you need. And if you wanted an even bigger bag, you could make the base from a separate piece as well. So it can be deconstructed further if needed. So there we have today's project. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.